Hi everyone. It's raining, so hopefully I won't be rained out. I'm just outside after my yoga class, and my yoga classes are such emotional experiences for me. I mean, calming at the same time, but also very emotional. And there were so many insights this morning while I was stretching. Today was a light stretching class, and it's so obvious that, for me, emotions come up always in the beginning of my practice. Like a couple of years ago, it would start happening at the end of the class. But now it's like the moment I get onto the mat, I start crying often. And what was interesting is just noticing today how, as I'm stretching my body, as I am going into places where emotion is stored, how it's released, and that energy that's been stuck is released in the form of emotions. And it was interesting to observe how my mind immediately wants to attach some kind of a story, like I'm experiencing this in my body, like there is this movement of warmth that's coming up, it's bubbling to the surface, and sometimes it expresses itself in tears, or I have this like stinging in my nose just before the tears come out, and the mind is so tempted to find a story, to then like suck all the juices out of it and kind of be stuck in it. And today I was really consciously aware of that and didn't let myself go into the stories, and just stayed with whatever my body was experiencing, just allowing whatever needed to move through me. And at some point, there was sadness, and some point I'm attaching a story, sadness, but there was this feeling, of like what felt like sadness, what sadness usually feels like, but I didn't attach to the story, and I just let it express itself. And then there was a moment where suddenly the music that was playing felt too loud. I wasn't able to hear my teacher properly. So I noticed this huge wave of what irritation usually feels like. And instead of like immediately discharging it on my teacher, like, oh, can you lower the music? Or can you please repeat? Or I can't hear you. I just allowed myself to be with it. And, again, not attaching a story, but just being with the sensations and just allowing them there. It felt like a release. It felt immediately much more like I allowed it to complete it, and so I came to harmony quicker, in that when we try to discharge it outside, we just transfer it out, to something else, and sometimes that cuts off the feeling. It doesn't allow it to be completed. Whereas when I stay with it and allow it, it just has a chance to do that bell curve and finish. So that was something that was interesting. And then toward the end, we did an exercise that I used to do. My body used to be much more flexible and much more stretchy, and today I noticed that I needed to adjust the posture for an easier version so that I don't feel any pain. And I used to push myself, because I wanted to be perfect, I wanted to be the best, or I wanted to continue doing the same thing that my body was doing when I was in my 30s. And today it was a conscious choice to simplify the posture and adjust to my body the way it feels today. And actually my teacher noticed, and we both said, like, she was like, yeah, you used to be able to do it without the prop. And I just said, yeah, I love my changing body. And it just like I touched my body, and I just said, I love my changing body. And as I was sitting in the posture, I was just really internally like sensing the gentleness and the tenderness and the appreciation of my body that served me so well over the years. And I realized also, like, the image that came to me, loving your body through aging is the same thing as like watching the person you love, you know, his graying hair, for example, or even observing my children, how their faces change as they grow, you know, from those little faces of little people to now becoming faces of adults. And so it's such a natural and beautiful process to observe changes, to acknowledge them, to appreciate them, to be there with the sadness that a change may bring about, but also celebration that we're here for this life, and just there is nothing wrong in the natural process of change, you know. So just really feeling very much in gratitude of my body this morning, and also my mind's capacity to tie all these experiences together and, you know, make them into these beautiful kind of wise little conclusions and insights. So really grateful for this moment. Wanted to share with you. See you tomorrow.